2023 is the year of the iPhone 15 Pro, the first frame design since the iPhone 12, also the year of Apple's upcoming AR/VR headset, and also the year of some new AirPods. And here's everything to expect in terms of all models, and I want to start off with the standard AirPods. And these came out back in October of 2021, which means that the next model should be just around the corner. So when should we expect the new model, and what features is it going to come with? Well, Twitter user Aaron discovered references of two new AirPods models in the latest iOS 16.4 beta. One is set to reference an AirPods case, while the other is set to reference an update to an existing model of the AirPods. This would pretty much point towards an imminent AirPods launch, as iOS 16.4 literally just came out. Now, whilst I do believe that some new AirPods are indeed coming very soon, I don't believe that these would be a new standard model, as according to Ming-Chi Kuo, Apple would only update the standard AirPods in the second half of 2024 at the earliest. That's some pretty bad news for those of you who wanted to get some new non-Pro models of the AirPods. But the good news here is that Apple is also planning a pair of more affordable AirPods that would start at just $99. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they call these the AirPods SE, and they're pretty much an identical copy of the current base AirPods, maybe without some features such as spatial audio and a couple more, with the new model of the base AirPods then having all the new features. Of course, they could also have the same design as the second-gen AirPods that Apple is still selling to this very day. Those would likely get discontinued as soon as the new models come out. But okay, what about USB Type-C? As you all know, the iPhone is finally switching to USB Type-C with the iPhone 15. And so is rumored for all of its accessories. Well, the weird thing here is that according to Ming-Chi Kuo, Apple has no plans of releasing USB Type-C versions of the second and the third gen AirPods. This does actually go against what Mark Gurman said, that they'll all be getting USB Type-C by the end of 2024. Unless, of course, Apple simply releases new AirPods entirely alongside the switch to USB Type-C, which does actually match up with what Ming-Chi Kuo initially said. And if you guys remember the whole EU USB-C law, the deadline for manufacturers to adopt USB Type-C on their products is actually December of 2024. So based on all of this, I do expect the new standard AirPods to come at some point in 2024. In terms of what features they could come with, the most obvious one is Apple's H2 chip, which the second-gen AirPods Pro introduced. The chip's main use case was to improve noise cancelling, which of course the standard AirPods do lack. However, the H2 chip does also improve audio, so we could at least see some improvements here. Of course, Apple could also update the audio driver that's inside to further improve the audio quality. And lastly, Bluetooth 5.3 up from 5.0, which would just make pairing with a new iPhone and a new Mac faster, whilst also draining less battery life. So now, what about the AirPods Pro? Well, according to Kuo, Apple's working on a USB Type-C version of the second-gen AirPods Pro that would launch in the second quarter or the third quarter of 2023. It is pretty interesting how they're updating the Pros, but not the standard models. If anything, it would make more sense to update the standard models instead, as likely more people buy these over the Pros due to their lower cost. Now, I am pretty certain that Apple would also be offering a separate USB Type-C case for those who simply want to upgrade to USB Type-C without having to buy a pair of new AirPods. This is something that they also did for the second-gen standard AirPods. And I'm also pretty sure that they would price this at least $99, $20 more than the wireless charging case for the second-gen AirPods, as this case also features a speaker, MagSafe, as well as a U1 chip. We're not really expecting anything new in terms of features for these new AirPods Pro, as they just got updated in September of 2022, but according to Mark Gurman, Apple is actually working on some big health-focused updates for a future model. More specifically, Apple is looking to upgrade the AirPods to become a health tool in the next 2 years, by giving them the ability to interpret hearing data. Now, we've been hearing about this for a while now, and it was something that the second-gen AirPods Pro were supposed to come with, but they never did. At least not officially. You can still use them as a hearing aid right now if you simply just add the hearing function to the control center and then just enable it from there. And that way you'll be able to use your iPhone as a microphone and hear whatever the iPhone's hearing through your AirPods. And we shouldn't forget about those patents that Apple has on an advanced biometric sensor for the AirPods that would be able to measure your temperature, your heart rate, your perspiration levels, and more, which is pretty crazy that they'll be able to do all of that from, well, just this tiny earbud. And if you think that it sounds way too sci-fi and it would never happen, well, Apple's Vice President of Technology, Kevin Lynch, did actually hint at AirPods getting some health features in the future in his interview with TechCrunch. So yeah, it seems that Apple is definitely working on adding these health features maybe to the next-gen AirPods Pros. And we should also not forget all the other health sensors that Apple is actively working on, such as a glucose level monitoring sensor and a blood pressure meter, which one day will come to the AirPods Pro. All in all, it seems like Apple's trying to take a similar approach to the AirPods like they did with the Apple Watch, with an emphasis on health features in order to push their products to new customers, as they've pretty much reached the peak of what they could do with the audio quality and noise cancelling. And lastly, we have the AirPods Max, which have not been updated since December of 2020. These things are really old now. Rumors of new AirPods Maxes have been floating around for the better part of the last 2 years now, with some reports saying that Apple would be releasing new colors very soon, but that never happened, likely due to lower than expected sales, which is kind of a given considering their very high price points. Now, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, new AirPods Maxes would come out in either the second half of 2024 or the first half of 2025. So yeah, these are a long way away. Although, I do believe that they might actually release sooner than this. A lot of people have started noticing that the AirPods Maxes are out of stock and that they're only shipping in mid-April, which is usually the case right before Apple is about to launch a new model. And remember those codename leaks from the beginning of this video, the ones in iOS 16.4, where one of them was for a case and the other one was for a full pair of AirPods? Well, the case is likely the USB-C case for the AirPods Pro, and since the regular model is not getting an update, well, the only other AirPods that the second codename could be for would be the AirPods Maxes. Now, the weird thing here would indeed be the timing. Apple launching both the AirPods Pro 2 case and the second-gen AirPods Maxes in the next few weeks might be a bit too soon compared to the Q3/Q4 timeframe that Ming-Chi Kuo suggested for the AirPods Pro alone. But the iOS 16.4 leak is a pretty strong indicator for Apple at least getting the software support ready for these two new AirPods. The most obvious new features to expect here would be upgrades that the AirPods Pro 2s introduced, such as the H2 chip, improved noise cancelling, improved transparency, and a better battery life. I do doubt that Apple would upgrade the audio drivers, as they would likely want to keep the R&D costs as low as possible, given that, they have a weaker popularity compared to the other models. But that H2 chip alone will automatically bring some really nice improvements to their already impressive sound, and keep in mind that with the AirPods Max ones, they have two H1 chips, so one in each ear cup, which means that with the second one, they could also have one H2 chip in each ear cup, making the audio quality, transparency, and noise cancelling even more superior than what we already have on the second-gen AirPods Pros. Now, aside from these four new features, USB Type-C is of course a no-brainer, and same goes for some fresh new colors. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also bring MagSafe to them, as the shape is already flat enough to allow for that. My personal two ones here are definitely number one, a redesigned case, as I do think this one's just awful, offering very poor protection, and number two, just more customizability. You know how with the Apple Watch you have the Apple Watch Studio interface on their website that allows you to pick and match whatever case material, case color, and band that you want? I would love for Apple to have something similar with the AirPods Maxes, where you pick the headband color, you pick the ear cups, and then you pick the ear cushions color as well. Some users are already doing this by buying individual components off of eBay to create their own style. So yeah, I would absolutely love for Apple to start allowing users to do this natively. Whatever they do, they definitely need to provide users with a more compelling package, as the AirPods Maxes have barely dropped in price from the usual $550. And when you consider that Sony's XM5s are about $200 less, and also come with comparable features and a comparable sound quality, well, the AirPods Maxes are really tough to consider, especially with their subpar case and constant connection bugs that do occasionally require users, including myself, to ask Apple for an entirely new unit. But hey, if you do want to get a pair, there are still some deals that you can take a look at by tapping on the YouTube Shoppable card down below. Not a lot of deals, but some decent prices here and there. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let us know what you think of the upcoming AirPods down below. I'm Daniel, tipping Zone of Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.